you know my stance and you know I'm a principled person. I have stated very, very clearly that the CCJ is the way to go, and it is inevitable. Look, now people could have reservation and you have a right to, that's your business. But at the end of it all, we would have to handle our own affairs here in the Caribbean. We would have to have our own system, and I am simply saying the time is now. The time is here for us to do so. And look, we can have disagreements. We can look, I've stated on the program my position, and there are people who say straight up, Kem, I don't agree with your position, and they challenge and they say certain things, and I respect that. We should have a healthy debating going forward. Tomorrow we will have Joseph Roberts or some of his acquaintances or some of his colleagues to come in and speak about the CCJ, and you have the opportunity to ask a number of questions the same way. But I am telling you folks, you have listened to me many a years. I am confident that the CCJ is the way to go. It may not be perfect, and nothing in life is perfect. Nothing in life except God himself. But I am simply saying this is something that you need to look at. Give it a try. Look at it. Listen to the both arguments. I am convinced that the CCJ is better for this region than the Privy Council at this point in time. And I am saying it will be better for many, many years to come. So I am simply asking of you to vote yes for the CCJ.
The National Democratic Congress is not and has never been opposed to the CCJ. In fact, previous administrations led by the NDC have done lots of work to push forward the work of the CCJ, and that can be attested to by Brother Peter David. The CCJ is another step towards the achievement of Caribbean unity. And in the NDC, we know that eventually, one way or the other, the CCJ in its appellate jurisdiction will become a reality, not only in Grenada, but throughout the Caribbean.
Preaching one unity, coming together as one. Hear what we say. When you see November 6th, we voting for the CCJ. Come out and make the right decision. It benefits in everybody. The Caribbean court of justice is what I come to promote. So when not time we just stick, make sure you vote and vote believe it. Let us get it right. I say everything has to fix. One Caribbean, one community. CCJ has to have the remedy for the CCJ. Vote yes to the CCJ.
Get up! It's time to vote for Caribbean Court of Justice. Man are ready to vote. The people ready to vote. I said they're ready to vote. We voting yes for Caribbean Court of Justice. We voting yes, 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 yes for Caribbean Court of Justice. I'm telling you, I go in and vote. You go in and vote. We go in and vote. Caribbean Court of Justice. She go in and vote. He go in and vote. They go in and vote. Caribbean Court of Justice. Grenada is a little island down here in the Caribbean. We've been through a lot in my lifetime, even revolution. And I must mention Hurricane Ivan. My dream is to see all the island come together as one. We voting yes for Caribbean Court of Justice. We voting yes, 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 yes for Caribbean Court of Justice. I'm telling you, I go in and vote. You go in and vote. We go in and vote. Caribbean Court of Justice. She go in and vote. He go in and vote. They go in and vote. Caribbean Court of Justice. My people, remember, November the 6th, Caribbean Court of Justice is the best choice. Vote yes.
Vote for Caribbean Justice. How you mean? We are independent people. And if we are independent, then why can't we make an independent decision like our own Caribbean Court of Justice? I say yes, like that.
Get up. It's time to vote for Caribbean Court of Justice. Man are ready to vote. The people ready to vote. I said they're ready to vote. We voting yeah.
And a good morning to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Pity Martinique. Once again, it is time for Hard Talk. My name is Sheldon Scott, and I'm in studio with a guest this morning. I ain't see Devon yet. I ain't too sure if he come in. If you do come in, I ain't too sure what's taking place yet. All right, yes, but we are in studio. And those of you who are viewing us online, you'd be able to tell I have my good friend KB in studio with us. KB is saying good morning to the people, man.
Good morning to the listeners. Good morning.
Yeah, man, and we're getting ready to go down the road. Hey, November 6th, man.
6th,
yeah,
you know.
November 6th, we have the...
Always sad and joy to some people.
Yeah, I have a kind of call coming in that I must take. So let me just pull a little music, KB, and we're coming right back.
For Caribbean Court of Justice. We voting yes, 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 yes. For Caribbean Court of Justice. I'm telling you, I go in and vote. You go in and vote. We go in and vote. Caribbean Court of Justice. She go in and vote. He go in and vote. They go in and vote. Caribbean Court of Justice. My people, remember, November the 6th, Caribbean Court of Justice is the best choice. Vote yes, the Caribbean Court of Justice. Up, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, indeed, yes. So, yeah, KB, what's the latest, man?
But, you know, I think we should, the referendum is, you know, is in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Also, for us splitting up mass resignation from the NDC.
They have resignations taking place?
Yes, I spoke to one of the former candidates, and they told me that Vincent Roberts decided to call it a day.
Well, I heard that, but I didn't get any confirmation. Yes. And so on.
And he told me also Jenny decided to call it a day. So they keep splitting up, you know, further and further. It's so thin. You wonder a party that is so thin.
They're like a pizza, so you just cut in and
splitting up.
cut in.
You know, it's really not good for the democratic process, but that is their problem. And it tells you that they need somebody from outside. Always look towards somebody from outside to help them with the problem. And no surprising, most of them take that position with the referendum. You understand? They always look outside. We want to, you know, determine our own destiny. Where the CCJ is concerned, Caribbean people, we feel confident that we have enough reputable people, you know, to handle the CCJ. But the NDC does it like that. You have to be some foreign powers to come in to help them with the problem. And it reflects their organization. Remember, they had to bring in Nicholas Graffit as someone to help them heal the wound. And it continues even today. They feel Caribbean people, we black people, haven't got the skills or the...
Can we hold one moment, please? There's a very loud hum that's coming across, and I think it's coming from my microphone. So let me just run this tune. I want people to hear what you're saying very clearly, and I believe that hum is coming from here. So let me just deal with that.
It's grand celebration, endless jubilation when independence day comes around. We keep saying we are free to chant our own destiny. There's no more mother country. But don't care how we dance up in the street. Our independence is not complete. So come let we rally around the CCJ without delay. Not tomorrow, but today. Caribbean people, this is another chance to advance towards total independence. Those who strip the life from we should never ever be in charge of our apex code. We have in the Caribbean men and women of distinction. So for the CCJ you must vote. Come let me rally around the CCJ without delay. Not tomorrow, but today. I know Marisho would have been proud to say, oh yeah, the CCJ on the way.
Yes, indeed. Just checking. Yeah, that's good. Nice.
Down with colonialism.
Yes, KB. So you're saying now that this is not the first time something like this has happened with the NDC. It seems as though they're to the stage now that they need to bring in and draft in and that kind of thing.
Yeah, they're looking for a liberator. Now, we in NNP feel confident that the lawyers, the judges in, sitting on the CCG, panel, could do a professional job. But they don't see it like that. They don't see that. They feel some foreign powers have to come in to do our work for us, to put peace and to do our work. But if you look at what happened, it was embarrassing for us as a nation. It takes America to come here to make peace, in our country. You understand? And why we as civilized people should have done that for ourselves. Why we cannot sit together and iron out our differences, always looking for some foreign powers to come in, to help us solve our problem.
So it's a very timely discussion to be having right now.
Exactly. Look at what happened. CCG. Wonder why is it the NDC don't feel confident? Our black people, cannot make decision, for our people. We have to look at the white man in England. You understand? I don't use it as a racist term,
That's reality of what it is.
White man in England, they trust the white man more than themselves. And look, we had the revolution. We couldn't solve our problem. We destroy one another on the foot. And it took America to come in to make peace. They give an impression they are more civilized than us. You understand? They're more developed,
Our children don't shoot up our schools.
Exactly. But the point is that
we don't have serial murderers.
Yeah, but we, as a people, must have confidence in ourselves and our people. Trust one another. Look at the chaos in NDC. Every day I was talking to one of the...
Is there one NDC or there several right now?
Well, the point is that they break up so much in different... You see, if you look at, there is not one trend of voice. The leaders speak and the people follow. Everybody saying their own thing. Randall Robinson will have his own views. Philip Alexander will have his own views. Tevin in Carriacou will have his own views. And it's getting like that. And we have to, be grateful to the Prime Minister and the NNP for keeping our party together. You understand? And you don't appear to be, in disarray like the NDC. And I wonder what is the real position of the NDC concerning the CCJ? You have an important, decision to make on the 5th and the 6th.
I've heard the acting political leader of the National Democratic Congress speak at the forum in Wester Hall, saying clearly that the NDC supports the Caribbean Court of Justice, and he's the acting political leader, which means that he's speaking on behalf of the party. They may have their issues with the process, but they said that they support the Caribbean Court of Justice. Even if they have issues with the process of how we get to the Caribbean Court of Justice, the bottom line is that they, for themselves, as a political organization, have admitted that the Caribbean Court of Justice is a proper and decent court, that we should go to that court, that it is the engraving, it is putting more of our independence in our hands. They understand that because he said so. We've also heard their public relation officer. We've heard Mr. Randall Robinson, and we heard him at the Grenada Trade Center in front of Prime Minister Mia Mottley say that how Grenada, being the progressive country that it has been, should have been the first country to go to the CCJ. In other words, we're doing something now that we should have done some 34, 35 or more years ago. So it is understandable when you say that, oh, there seem to be different views coming out. The NDC as an organization always flip-flops. Eh? They always flip-flop. Like they're always converging and contrasting ideologies within the organization. So one set of people saying this and the next set saying that. We heard Glenn Noel at the Deluxe Cinema in Grenville in front of former Justice Dennis Byron, who incidentally will be back here tomorrow. And they were saying clearly, he was saying clearly, I'm speaking on behalf of the NDC because I cannot speak on behalf of myself. So I'm here speaking on behalf of the NDC, and we support the Caribbean Court of Justice. So I can't understand how you support it, and now you're coming out and telling the people vote against it because you have something against Keith Mitchell. The NDC supporters are supposed to put their party straight. They have to straighten out their party.
If Glenn Noel as General Secretary, speaking on behalf of the party, and say that is party position, how come Tevin have a different position? How come other people have different position?
Tevin for himself, remember he wanted to become the General Secretary. He put out an announcement recently saying that he's withdrawing from the race, and he thanks the 11 constituencies that supported him. So 11 constituencies support you for a position you want in the National Democratic Congress. What made you decide that you're not taking that position? What is to stop you from becoming the General Secretary? Peter David was the General Secretary at the NDC, and he was a successful candidate. On 2 occasions, you had other people that held positions within the National Democratic Congress and were candidates and were successful. So how come he can't hold a position as General Secretary and be successful as a candidate?
I think again is weak leadership responsible for all of that.
Or they freed him?
I don't know, it's weak leadership. I feel if the leader set the tone, the supporters, even the surrogate, must follow the tone of the leader. You understand? You can't have the leader of the party setting one tone and other people coming up with different views in the public. And your surrogate must follow the leader trend of thought, what position the party take. And that shows the weakness of NDC. You saying in different forums, you support it. But your followers, you don't pressing your supporters to follow what position the party take. And that shows you wonder if, like somebody has said to me this morning, what had happened if NDC had took power in this country? How they behave in opposition, that's how they're going to rule? They will rule this country? What happened if by some miracle people had voted NDC into power? Look at the situation of the party now. Chaos, anarchy, confusion, resignation, different position.
Okay, but it was also instructive, and I think it was an early signal that when the debate in relation to the issue of the CCJ came up in the Senate, none of the NDC representatives were present. The 2 persons who were there, who are members of the NDC, did not show up in Senate. In fact, one of the senators seems to not be interested in showing up in Parliament at all because they're never there. And the other one showed up the last time when the electoral representation of the People's Act amendment was being taken through the Parliament at the last sitting. He was there in the Senate, but when it came to discussing the CCJ, they didn't find it important enough to avail themselves of the opportunity to be there. And something as important as this, that they are now going out and tell their people vote no against.
Sheldon, let me give you an something I did experience this week. I went to change some money in MoneyGram, and I met a young lady standing outside. And she said, "Mister, you busy?" I said, "Not really. I want to send $200 for my mother in Bakeway." And they refused to accept the $200 in MoneyGram. I said, $200 is not a lot. What is the problem? They said, "I have an ID card and I don't have a passport." I said, "Well, your ID card is valid in the OECS. So why they should refuse $200? So I said, "All right, let me see if I can send the $200 for you." $200 is not a lot. So I went in there and they said, "No, we're not accepting you." I said, "We're talking to the lady and we're not accepting her money." I said, "Well, $200 from a poor black girl, you just cannot, arbitrarily say no unless you have some evidence she involved in some illegal activity. Then you have reason to deny her. But to just turn her down because she from Bakeway, I mean, the minority CCJ immediately." And I said, "Mr. Hyson, we train in the army as soldiers. How dare you deny that little black girl?" He said, "No, KB, the FIU want us." And I said, "For $200? I said, if she continued to send $200 on a regular basis, I could understand. But she coming for the first time to send $200. You don't paint her with a broad brush and say she come out in St. Vincent, the $200 is drug money or legal. You don't do that. So what you going to do with somebody from Jamaica? Are you going to do the same thing to them?" And I said, "I'll discuss that matter with August Ferguson."
Well, see, the issue is that in defense of MoneyGram, and yeah, I am working for MoneyGram, but in defense of them, what has been happening is that individuals, like for instance, they have to send $1,000 to somebody in one of the other islands. They use 5 people and send $200 each. So, and they might even send all to the same person. 2 might send to one person and the other 3 send to different people. But they're sending $1,000. And that has been going on, which is why MoneyGram and Western Union have been a bit more stringent. They have been a bit more strict with how they deal with certain things. Because one, there's the aspect of transferring money for terrorism. And if MoneyGram has been found by the United States or any other major country as being one of the conduits which money is being transferred to terrorist organizations, they could lose their license to operate in those countries.
I agree all of that. But I feel 200 is a little bit of money.
But that's what
I'm saying.
That's what the drug lords do too. They do it a little bit, so they send it little bit by little bit to different people.
If the person consistently doing it on a regular basis, well, yes, there is the red flag. But you see, that's same thing I tell you, man, on CCG, and how important it is, why we should support, give support in that referendum, vote yes in that referendum.
Because a person from Bakeway, who's basically a Vincentian, has the same rights in Grenada, according to CSME, as a Grenadian to send money to somebody from Grenada.
I did ask.
You could be in Somalia and you is a Grenadian and you have to send money somewhere. The Somalians can't tell you can't send it to MoneyGram. You have to be able to send it.
Yeah, I did ask her, why did you send it to Western Union? She said there is no Western Union in Bakeway, only MoneyGram. So at least I did kind of this, I've seen it as, discriminating against her. And me mind run on CCG at the same time. I said, look, I told her, I said, I'll discuss with the August Ferguson. And it's important that every parliamentarian, every surrogate, every one of us, encourage our people to do the right thing and go out and vote. Don't take it as, give it lukewarm support as we did the last time and say it's up to us, vote your conscience. No, we all need to go out and encourage people to do the right thing.
But here's what, KB, I think so much misinformation, twisted information, outright lies and deception is being put forward by the National Democratic Congress in relation to the issue of the CCG. And I'm saying to the members of the NDC, because KB, there are literally thousands of members of the NDC that listen to this program religiously on a daily basis.
Yeah, of course, yes.
They listen. They may not like me.
I know.
They may not like you.
I know.
They may not like Devon, they may not like the NNP, but they listen to this program on a daily basis. And I'm saying to them, the time is now to rise up against your leaders. The time is now.
Do the right thing.
Rise up against your leaders. They told you, the members of the NDC, they told you that the CCJ is a good thing, but they're telling you vote against a good thing. They told you that, and they have no excuse to be talking about the bill and time and all this sort of things now. We spent 400 years in slavery. We've been emancipated about 200 years ago. We've been an independent country in February as of 45 years. We have been 35 years since the People's Revolution collapsed. And you're telling me that we're rushing the process of going into the CCJ? How could we be rushing the process of going into the CCJ? 35 years after the revolution, 45 years after independence, 200 years since emancipation, 400 years we spent in slavery. And now you're coming to tell me that we're rushing the process. Maybe somebody has to be mental.
But everything is, I don't know if you want to punish Dr. Mitchell. What does
They're
have to do with
punishing
Dr. Mitchell? I mean, they don't want that to be part of Dr. Mitchell's legacy. This thing is so puzzling, and you wonder how he's even thinking.
Well, that's the thing. You see, the difference between you and me, KB, is I know that they're not thinking. You believe that they're thinking, and you're wondering how they're thinking. In my view, they are not thinking. This is just reflex action, in that you hate a person for so many time. If you really don't like something or something disgusts you, anytime you see it, there's a natural reflex action. Your face changes. Your stomach might feel funny. You for yourself, even your voice might change. Your way you react might change. If you really don't like something, or you see something that turns you off. And in my view, without even thinking, this is a reflex action, because they just don't like Dr. Mitchell. They just don't like the new National Party. They don't like the fact many of them have not gotten over February 2013, much less they get over March 2018. Some of them still ain't get over February of 2013, much less they get over March of 2018. And with all of that, it's a reflex action. So the thing is, yes, we know this is good for us. We know the medication is good. We know the medication will cure the ills that we have. We know that we'll be okay after we take the medication. But I don't like the damn doctor, so I ain't taking it. That is the attitude,
Yeah, but there is a consequence for you understand? There is a consequence.
But it's you that had the complaint.
Yeah. What will happen is that people will not see them as a responsible opposition. And once people don't see you as a responsible opposition, it's difficult for you to get into government. That is where you have to start. You must earn that respect before you get into government. You can't wait till you get into government for people to respect you. They have to respect you before. And that is the problem with them. People don't see them as being patriotic or having the country at heart.
Let's look at something here. They've been saying that they have various problems with the bills. And there are many things that the Grenadian people may not be aware of. And I want you to tell them. I want you to call them tonight on Beyond the Headlines. There will be Sir Lawrence Joseph. He'll be there together with Dr. Francis Alexis and Miss Claudette Joseph. And I'm glad, because I know they will eviscerate her intellectually. In other words, they will mash up on that program tonight with the nonsense that she's been speaking. And in fact, I sometimes wonder, and I mean, I don't want to talk down to anybody. And I don't want to think, but sometimes I wonder if some people really have a degree in the area they say they have a degree in. Because I can't understand that you have a law degree. Now, there's the CARICOM agreement in relation to the CCJ. The CARICOM agreement says that you cannot carry a case to the appellate court if the case is less than $25,000, worth less than $25,000.
Okay.
Yes, it says that. But it also says, because Ms. Claudette Joseph is just reading that part, but she's not reading the part of that act that says as well that that is only enforceable, but it is not enforceable in front of the law in your country. So if the law in your country says that you could take a case to the CCJ or to the Privy Council as it is right now, that is worth $1,200 or more, which is the case in Grenada. It's about $1,200 that you could take a case. Once it's worth $1,200 or so, you can take it directly to the Privy Council. So the law in Grenada takes precedent, not the CCJ agreement.
Okay.
The law in Grenada, because the CCJ agreement says so. It says that the law in Grenada or the Constitution or any other law that may come into force takes precedent over that $25,000 that the CCJ say. So it's a non-issue. It's a non-issue, and you're telling me that you're a lawyer, that you're so educated, that you have this law degree, that you should have been a parliamentarian sitting in our parliament representing the people of Grenada, and this simple, I could take my 6-year-old and put him to read that, and those of you that know my 6-year-old know he go read it. I could put him to read it, and he will be able to explain it. But you're telling me that this so-called lawyer, and I don't like to call people so-called lawyer because the woman went and she studied and she has a degree.
Yeah.
So let me take that back. But this lawyer telling me that she doesn't understand that simple terminology that says that the law or the Constitution or any law that comes into place in your country takes precedent over that. In other words, the 25,000 limit that's put by the CCJ is null and void in the case of Grenada because our Constitution says $1,200, which has not been changed.
She's one of the aspiring leader of the NDC.
The piring part of our thing, but if you go with the first part of that word, I might stay there. You say aspiring, but if you go with piring, I might think. The first part, I think she's more one of that in the NDC. Because, no, to be honest with you, these are non-issues, and I'll tell you why these are non-issues too. The NDC didn't just get a bill last week. They didn't just get the bill at the beginning of October. When the CCJ Advisory Committee was being formed, and Cabinet gave the okay to form the committee, and people were mentioned, nominated to the committee. At the same time, the chair of the committee, the Attorney General of Grenada, made sure that not only the NDC, but all of those different organizations within the country that were invited to be part, the NGO community and so on, that they all received, they all received a copy of the bill. They all got a copy of the bill, which means that the NDC would have had a copy of the bill in their hands going on 6 months now. So it's not that they just see something in it today because they just get the bill last month. They lie if they tell all you that. They lie. They lie, they lie, they lie.
Why is it they don't respond to anything positive? What is the take on the Putin Cargo? What is the take of the 6-point-something million we have for youth empowerment? What's the take of we sent $6 million for the debushing? What is the take on the Prime Minister getting that, that?
And they're trying to talk down that,
That becoming the finance minister of the Caribbean. What is the take on it? All is positive.
I'm trying to figure out, how could you be against one of your own people achieving something? How could you be so bad-minded that you are against the fact that your own people have achieved something? And not one, but two, because you have Timothy Antoine becoming the governor of the year for the Caribbean region. So he is better than the governor of the Trinidad and Tobago finance thing, their money. The man who does sign their money. He is better than that man. He better than the one in Jamaica. He better than those in the Bahamas and Bermuda and all these places. He is the #1 finance governor for the region. And then you have Dr. Mitchell, who is the #1 finance minister for the region as well.
International recognition.
And that's the thing. It's not a regional recognition. It's an international agency that's looking in on the Caribbean and saying, but this man is doing the right thing. But KB,
you don't get no praise for that on their side?
But look at this. And to add insult to injury to the haters, Trinidad, stalking and sending thousands of people home. And again, we are in total solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Trinidad. In fact, I'm hoping that some of us start to put together, as small as it is, some packages and send down to the people down there. Because I used to see packages from all kind of Hindu school. And all kind of school coming up here after Hurricane Ivan. They have their problems now. We as Grenadians should be helping our brothers and sisters. And we know that, I was very surprised to find out a lot of the East Indians who I thought were East Indians in Trinidad was Grenadians. I was looking at them as East Indian indentured laborers for Trinidad. And you're even listening to names, only to realize afterwards, after I go to school with them, and some of them you know them from since you know yourself, that these people from Victoria and St. Patrick
Yeah,
and St. David
yeah.
and St. Andrew
Indian
only to realize
Indian community.
they're from Grenada.
Yeah.
So we look at them and we say sometimes, oh, Trinidad Indian. No, Trinidad Indian. Grenadian are there.
Yeah.
Grenadian are there. But KB, while Trinidad is talking about sending home thousands in the oil industry, thousands.
500 you.
Well,
500 young people
plus
from the block.
850. So you have 850 plus 500. So it's not just the 500 in the Empower program. You have the 850 that have now been taken into Imani. People that right now this morning are going down to do their orientation. Some of them, they're taking them in batches, going down to the youth center and organizing. So you have 850 and 500 being taken in here in Grenada. While that is happening here in Grenada, Trinidad sending home through the oil sector. And you know, in the oil sector, you're talking about those that work with Petrotrin.
Yes.
So you're talking about 2,500 at least. Then you're talking about those that attach to the industries that attach to Petrotrin. Yeah. So it might be the restaurant in Marabella, Vista Bella, or Gasparillo, or Claxton Bay. That when they're on the off, when they're on lunch, and so they go and they have lunch day. That had to close down now because these people ain't working again. So it's the spin-off. So you might be looking at 2,500, not realizing it's more in the region of 10,000 jobs.
Yeah.
Just before Christmas that have been affected by this. But on top of that, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley, she announced last week that they're going to have to send home a couple thousand Barbadian workers. This was a campaign promise of her that she would not do it. She promised in her election campaign this year.
But she realized the situation is more challenging inside than before she went in.
And that's why you have to feel it for her. And you can't say that she went against a campaign promise. She said in July of this year, there's a report online, and folks can search online and get it in the Barbados Nation newspaper, where she said, when asked about retrenchment, because the issue of retrenchment came up earlier this year again, she said that would be the last option on the table. So if she said that in July, and come October, Barbados, who all of us does look to like if it's the jewel of the Caribbean.
Tourist dollar.
Yeah, we look at Barbados and we say Barbados is the option. Oh, look at the schools, look at the transportation system, look at the this, look at the that. All of us talk about Barbados in those sense. Yeah. Even back in the days, KB, a lot of the police here used to be from Barbados.
One train there.
Yeah. So if we look at Barbados in that sense and you see Barbados at this juncture about to send home, whether it's 2,000 or so people again from the public sector. After sending home in 2014, 3,000 people from the public sector. And in Grenada, between 2013 and 2018, KB, how much people we sent home?
Hardly anybody.
But we didn't send home nobody? People retire?
Hardly people retire, they dead.
We didn't send home anybody?
Who go home and they go in the grave for the retire.
So that's the only way people leave in the service in Grenada?
Yeah.
Well, the only way
travel.
Leaving, you're dead.
You travel.
You resign. You retire.
Or you travel.
You travel. That's the only way you're leaving the service in Grenada. But in Barbados, she has come to the last option because she said in July, this is the last option that I would put on the table. So now she reached the last option. It's like she think I everything else. But Mia, maybe I need to speak to Dr. Mitchell. We love you and you're a Grenadian.
I don't know because he been doing a wonderful job. And the Caribbean, the world recognize that everybody except the NDC. And I wonder how this project in Carriacou, such a good project, why they don't come out and say, hey, I support it, and if any changes they want us to make, come up with your ideas. Same thing with the youth empowerment program. It's close to between $6 and $7 million we invest in there. And if they don't like how it is being run, come up with your ideas. You know, we're not perfect. If you see anything you want to add or you want us to remove, you come up with it. But don't just criticize it like that. Again, the Prime Minister receiving that award, give him praise. Timothy Antoine, give him praise. They are responsible opposition. Show that you are a patriotic citizen and you don't oppose everything the government, support. You don't do that. Even the debushing program, now look how the roadside looking clean and nice, Sheldon. Even before the Christmas program came in, you had some permanent crews going about doing the drilling and so on. Now, start so early. Government investing over $6 million in that Christmas program. And all this positive happening around here. When you go St. George's in the town, a lot happening in the south of this country. And you cannot see nothing positive.
You know, there's certain areas that you can't fix the road at this time. And you know you can't fix the road because the volume of trucks.
If traffic is
volume
heavy.
of traffic that pass in there because you have so much construction taking place that even when you pass and you do like in the south of the island, you're patching the road. Every time you patch the road, you see within a couple of weeks you realize it starts to come back bad again. And it's not that they're not doing it properly, but the volume of traffic that's going down. When you look at Silver Sands and you realize, KB, we're talking about the 1,350 young people engaged by the Ministry of Youth this month alone.
Yeah.
That we ain't talking about the 3,000 that they have outside of that. We're talking about the 1,350 engaged this month alone. We ain't talk about the 100 plus that down at Silver Sands in training right now. And these young people, if you go down there, KB, you see them in they have on the nice, is that light blue or light green kind of t-shirt, Nas? The t-shirt that the Silver Sands staff wearing, they have a nice shirt that they wear. Now we're not talking about the construction people here.
I know.
The construction people doing their work, but the staff, the permanent staff that they're taking on, a kind of bluish t-shirt that they have on with the Silver Sands right on the chest and so doing the training. These are over 100 young people and people in general, because not all is young people, some is middle age and so on. People that otherwise would have been home right now wondering, but Christmas coming, I wonder how I make him a place look nice, so if somebody pass for a drink, I could at least give them a drink other than water and juice.
No, not only, we also create the environment for those call centers. Those call centers, they just, emerge out of the blue. You know. We create the conducive environment for them to operate, for to employ more people, more young people. It don't happen by accident because we have a very healthy, stable industrial atmosphere. And we're able to hire more Imanis and even the 500 young people because of our fiscal discipline. A lot come into it. We're able to generate enough money to employ these people.
You don't have demand finance minister.
You could go give him finance minister because at least not only cut back on the deficit, not only the unpaid claim, you're able to manage it, and he reaching a stage now where he could borrow, and he's not reckless. He only borrowing when it's absolutely necessary to borrow. The terms and conditions have to be right. And you have to give him praise. You may have your hang up. Even sometimes I don't agree with the Prime Minister all the time. But when he good, you have to give him praise. When he perform, give him praise.
Last year, Audley Shaw in Jamaica was named the Finance Minister of the Year. He was named by the same Global Markets. He was named the Finance Minister of the Year last year by Global Markets. The Jamaican Finance Minister at the time, I think he's in another ministry now. I'm not sure if he's still in the Ministry of Finance. I think he's been shuffled to another ministry. I didn't hear NDC say, well, okay, look at that, they name a Jamaican, they didn't name the Grenadian. But as soon as they name the Grenadian now, when you ought to be proud that they named the Grenadian, you're fighting it down.
It's Dr. Mitchell. And
because
maybe somebody,
yes.
And the problem is, they're so reactive. They don't come up with no ideas, nothing new. They sit, they fold the arm, and they're hoping that the NNP or Dr. Mitchell say something or make a mistake. I tell you, this thing in New York, they make so much noise about it. Even yesterday, I went to Belmont Estate to have lunch, and I was speaking to a couple of NDC, and they were saying, KB, the man didn't have right to, he should have swept it under the carpet. He didn't have right to say this thing on foreign soil. I said, well, they ask him on foreign soil. So you want them to tell him, hold up, I can't answer it here. Wait till I reach in Grenada to answer it. And that's what you're telling me.
But who was he speaking to?
The same Grenadian people, the Grenadian community.
He should not answer a question that asked by the Grenadian people where he's speaking facts in relation to a topical issue.
Yes.
He should not respond to that question until he on Grenadian. So what you have to do, go and stand up in the consulate and answer?
No.
Because the consulate technically is considered Grenadian soil.
Yeah, but
so you have to go and stand up in the consulate.
Not even that, they didn't want to wait till he reach in Grenada to answer. I tell you, dealing with the NDC public, that is so
But that's a
puzzling.
let's
You
say
see, when
that's
you don't have leadership,
KB is a stupid argument.
of course, it's a
dumb argument.
It's a dumb argument.
And I
When
make no
when you
apology for
don't
it.
have
It's stupid.
when you don't have leadership, you know, people say anything, anyhow, and you know, you make the party look bad because you lack messengers. The NDC problem, they have no credible messenger. So everybody's saying different thing, and you could never know what they stand for. I think
so
right.
while you have Randall saying vote for the CCJ is a good thing,
Yeah.
while you had their mouthpiece at one time shouting out vote for the CCJ is a good thing, you had people like Claudette saying no, people like Tevin saying no. So it's like there's no
Lack of leadership.
meshing.
No.
It's like everybody say what you want, do what you want within the organization.
I think NDC is at its worst stage now. They cannot be worse than that. They are the worst in terms of organization. What we have to do as an NPI is to make sure we use the opportunity, that time, to build our organization, build our structure, mobilize our people to come out and vote for the CCG and follow, you know, keep the party together.
But I think for the NDC members that are out there listening right now, that they have to teach their own party a lesson and vote yes. They have to vote yes, because your party is telling you to vote against something that they have told you is good for you. So, I mean, you could trust people like that. You have to vote yes. NDCites have to come out and vote yes.
It's the first time I don't get the feeling the NDC as a party will mobilize anybody to vote no.
Just the hater squad.
The hater squad may just go and vote no. But the rank and file or the supporters, they may stay home. I don't get the feeling they're mobilizing people to go out to vote. But we must not be complacent and fold our arms and hope that our people go and vote. We must insist. And the parliamentarian must call in the constituency branch. They must call in the supporters. Do the house-to-house campaign. Go and meet their people. Don't fold the arm. And the Prime Minister must insist and demand that they do it. Because you got some parliamentarians just take it for granted and hope that the people go and vote. No. The party must call them in a session and demand and insist they go out and do the political work and get the people out to vote. We cannot allow that to fail a second time.
Well, not only that, you know, it carries further implications for the average person. The guy who might be sitting in prison right now and who is actually innocent. And he's been as far as he can go right now to the appeals court, but he can't go to the Privy Council because he can't afford to go there.
He can't afford it.
But he will be able to afford to go to the CCJ. He will be able to afford to go to the CCJ. And it's not a situation that you have to find a lawyer and pay for a lawyer. Sometimes the CCJ speak to the Bar Association in a country and it say, as it did in Guyana, speak to the Bar Association and say, this person seems to have a good case, we want to hear it, and so can you all lend pro bono somebody to deal with this person's case on their behalf? So, I mean, it's not a situation that they're trying to make it look like it's not a poor people thing, that is for rich people. The rich people are the ones who talk in the veranda NDC and them, who bank account is over $500,000, who have place to stay in the United States. They have place there, they have place all over. They have access to how much vehicles and all this kind of thing. These are the people calling radio and telling poor people in this country, vote no.
Yeah, because
they could afford.
Later on, in case they want to bring a case against Dr. Mitchell, they don't want no Caribbean judges to try Dr. Mitchell. They want to go to the Privy Council. It's to hear some of them arguments. It's so embarrassing, so shameful, so petty, and you could feel the venom and the hate, the vindictiveness in some of them. And they would not get over that. They would not get over that. I wish they could just take Dr. Mitchell out of the equation and just look at Grenada as a whole and do what is best for this country.
It takes a patriot to do that. It takes a patriot to separate themselves from the politics and see the issue for what it really is. An issue that will only benefit Grenada. There are no negatives to this. it will benefit Grenada. So when I say I'm voting yes and I encourage people to vote yes, I know that this is only beneficial to Grenada. It's no negatives to it. No. It's no problems to it. It is beneficial to Grenada. And I also understand that the day will come sooner rather than later. It could be an announcement that comes this week. It could be an announcement that comes next week. It could be an announcement that comes at the end of year address. But the announcement will come sooner rather than later that the Privy Council will be removed. It will be removed. You look at Windrush. People who spend 40 and 50 years in the UK, and now you're telling them that they can't stay because they ain't regularized their status. They're paying taxes. They're working all different industry. They work all over. And now you're telling them that they can't stay because they ain't regularized their status. Some people that just leave and they go over to Jamaica or they go over to Trinidad or they come here to Grenada or they go to Barbados. And then when they're trying to re-enter the UK, you tell them they can't re-enter, they overstay the time. People who previously travel and go back to their home country and go back to the UK, you know. Yeah. Now they're telling them they can't re-enter. So they have to stay there. People who may have left the UK as under the age of 10 and now being told, no, you're not a British citizen, you have to stay in which country you come out from. These people have been going through that. In other words, the British people say we want the country for ourselves. We want to spend we money on ourselves. When it comes to Brexit, they have separated themselves from the European Union. They say we want to spend we money on ourselves. We don't want no Frenchman come here in Britain, get a job, and getting our benefits and so medical care and everything for himself and his family. We want to spend we money on ourselves. That is a campaign that people like Boris, I nearly said Boris Yeltsin, Theresa May. Yeah. Well, the thing is with Theresa May, she was actually against Brexit. But as she became Prime Minister, she had to enforce what the party said. She, along with David Cameron, were against Brexit. Yeah. But she had to enforce what the party says and what the people of Britain have said. They said they want to separate, and she has to go by what the people of Britain said. But you had my good friend Boris, and I'm forgetting his surname right now, and others who campaigned to separate. They say, let we spend our money on ourselves. When we spend our tax dollars, it must spend on British subjects and British citizens. The Privy Council is not on for British subjects and British citizens. They're spending money on judges and justices that have to sit there and a whole network, a whole court system that the British people don't use. Millions of pounds every year on a whole system that they don't use. So how long you think it's going to survive with the present sort of activities taking place in the UK? While they're getting ready for Brexit, while they're getting ready to revise their own laws because some of the laws are so intertwined with the European laws. Yeah. Now they're getting to that stage. They need their judges. They need the system.
They don't have time for us.
They have no time for no Privy Council. How much cases you have from the Privy Council from Grenada in the last so much years? You have one right now that should be heard tomorrow. One case. Ewart Lane. His case to become a lawyer after being barred by the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, and so he's taking a case to the Privy Council right now in relation to that. One case. How many other cases you've heard go to the Privy Council? You may have heard murder cases and that kind of thing once in a blue moon. Go up to the Privy Council. But cases cannot go because the cost. Yeah. The cost of the cases. People will fight for you because of the historical part of it.
I know.
They would do that for free. If the justices over there would do that for free for him. But the average Grenadian can't get that?
You're so correct. I saw the hypocrisy in the thing that, you know, we judge one people, and you see the hypocrisy that the concern why the government did not put up, you know, a defense. But he never asked the NDC why they didn't put up a defense with Grindberg. He wondered why you did not put up a defense against Lieutenant Colonel Lane. But Grindberg was billions of dollars. If we had lost, we had to foot the bill. And you had a government in power refused to put up defense. It took Dr. Mitchell and Gregory Boyle to raise the money outside a government and put up a defense to save this country. George Ram never asked the NDC why did he put up a defense. But now all over the place, why you don't put up a defense against Lieutenant Colonel Lane?
But no, I mean, if they have to ask why we don't put up a defense, ask why we didn't put up a defense against the case that was brought by the Public Workers Union
yes.
In relation
Against
to pensions.
pension.
That is what NNP did not put up a defense
Yes.
against.
Because Chester Humphrey said he went to Dr. Mitchell and he asked Dr. Mitchell, please.
I'm trying to remember the hero's name there,
Yeah,
the lady.
the lady.
Boy. I'm trying to remember her name. Depot. You remind me of the name. Depot said that, oh, right now we're sleeping downstairs at next man's house. No, but that is what the Privy Council is.
Yes.
We are sleeping downstairs at next man's house right now, and it's time for us to get out.
Of course.
We sleeping on mommy couch.
No, he seems as though he's...
We 40-something years old and we sleeping on mommy couch. We ain't want to go and build our own house. We had the space in the yard, the material packed up there, and we ain't want to go and build our own house.
You know, what embarrassing is a lot of revolutionaries want to keep the CCG, want to keep the Privy Council.
Puff
When they fight against that all their life,
Puff.
oppose that all their life.
KB, that is the ones. When the first helicopter gunships fly over Grenada, head for hole. Them is coward.
Down
Them is no revolutionary. Them is coward.
with imperialism, down with colonialism, down with all these things. What they supporting?
That the fellas are, you know who's those guys who calling themselves revolutionary and think they KB? That is the same guys and them. From the time they see them US carriers and them on the horizon there, they went home, they take off the PRA and the PRM uniform, and they went and they put on shirt with America flag. That is what they went and do. Them is puff revolutionary. None of them are no revolutionary. All of them is jokers. Because they cannot tell me they are progressive thinkers. In the line of Thomas Sankara, in the name of Marshall, in the name of Maurice Bishop, in the name of people like, even if they want to go deep into the thing and say Mao Zedong and Karl Marx, they cannot say that they are progressive thinkers along leftist ideology and so on, or just generally progressive thinkers, and that they're going to tell a country like Grenada, stay in the Privy Council. Them is puff revolutionary. Sankara would have run them. They couldn't go around Patrice Lumumba. They would have run them. Them is puff revolutionary.
Even Claudette, who was close to Osu.
Puff.
Who is now, I wish she hear me. She was close to Osu James. How come Claudette you so you so colonial in your thinking?
Puff. Them ain't no revolutionary. Them is puff.
Yes.
And the lady's name is Hermelin Armstrong. That is what. Ask us why we didn't defend that.
They should ask that. They should ask that.
Why we did not defend that.
Put up our defense to,
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is so that the only one they questioning is one of Lieutenant Colonel Lane. You know, we didn't put up any defense when Grindberg was going to control all our resources out there. None.
Yeah. And you had Hermelin Armstrong had a case. Government could have put up a defense.
Yeah.
And this case could have been in front of the Privy Council right now.
Exactly.
It could have been there. In fact, it might not even come up until sometime next 2-3 years. It might have come up, and that would have been the end of the case. And meanwhile, government didn't have to be discussing pensions right now.
No.
Government didn't have to pay out $7 million to some 40-something people during this year alone. Government didn't have to go through that. Government could have said, listen, we ain't going to pay out no $7 million now. We know we will have to pay it, but we won't pay it 5, 10, 20 years down the road. We're going to put aside, create a fund and put that inside there. And let us just interfere with them in the court still. Let me extend the case, keep it longer. That is what government could have done. But Senator Chester Humphrey, before the 2013 election, when they spoke to the New National Party as a trade union, they said, these are what we want. And all of what they asked for, they got it.
They got it.
Everything. The NNP kept its promise to the unions. So that is why certain people could call a day of, rest and reflection and protest or whatever.
They still on this?
When they called it a couple Saturdays ago and realized that they can't get 50 people.
They call it off now?
No, they had it. They had the thing, the 50, I don't know if you know that at the Public Workers Union building, about 2 Saturdays back, they had a day of what they said solidarity for workers in the health sector. And when you went there, the pictures that I've seen the executive at the NDC being the largest block there. The executive at the NDC and those other fringe parties that doesn't even get numbers you could call in lotto. So those parties, but when I say it doesn't call in lotto, it ain't higher than lotto numbers, it's lower than lotto numbers. Because some of them does get none. And zero doesn't call in lotto. So some of these people from these parties and the NDC, that was who was there. When you see people like Mark Burney, Crow, that is, and you're featuring Crow because Crow come.
Yeah,
featuring Crow.
he's a party.
Well, and the young Maitland fella and the members of the NDC. Because you know there seems to be that coalition now.
Yes, yes.
That seems to be that coalition. Every time you see one, you see the others now. There's that coalition that's taking place with them.
Yeah.
But again, all of them puff revolutionary. Miss puff, they're like flower puff. Them is puff revolutionary.
It seems as though Forrester with them right through now. So they all getting together. It seems as though they will have it look as though we're gonna have a coalition.
Yeah, that's
for
you
the
can
next
see, but
election.
coalitions don't last because in Trinidad you had the coalition which formed the NAR. Back in the 80s, they came into office, and then that's when Trinidad ended up with a coup, and you know what happened. That was the end of the NAR. You had the COP came and they formed, and then bam, COP, one term in office, that is the end of them, and so on. Coalitions generally do not last. Even the NDC as a coalition back in the after the 1990 general election, and one term, and then that was it until when they came back in 2008, and then that's the end of it again. Coalitions in the Caribbean sense generally don't work.
What is good, I think people recognize performance beat old talk. That you've seen the performance of the government. You're feeling it now.
Well, let's talk performance, KV. Let's talk employment. So we talk the 850 young people in Imani that have been new people in Imani.
Yeah,
new people, not people that was there before, new people in Imani.
Yeah, 500.
500 engaged under the Empower.
Young men.
Men, strictly young men.
Yes.
Then you have the 60 in the police force.
I missed that one.
Yeah, good partner.
I missed that one.
That alone, we're talking 1,410.
I missed that one.
We ain't call out the figures in the debushing and them kind of thing with it. Not the temporary one. The wardens now, the people who doing the drainage and so on, who are not at a permanent
fortnight.
They're not a fortnight. These people are engaged over an extended period of time to provide some consistent employment to them. So they ain't coming out this week, next week, and then they go home. These people are out for an extended period of time, the environmental wardens.
Yes.
Then you have those who are the temporary in the debushing, so that revolving program with those in the debushing program and so. So you're talking well over 2,000, heading to 3,000 people engaged.
Yeah, and we devour the call centers.
Who have been taken, well, this
call
is private.
Centers keep on always taking, always asking.
Well, we were looking at the public sector there. There's the private sector now.
Yes.
So you're talking about the call centers who have taken in several thousand.
Yes.
And they're always asking for every minute you're getting a text on your phone, KM2 looking for people, Clare Harbour looking for people. Security looking for people. SGU was looking for a driver. I don't know if they get a driver. I was looking for drivers and that kind of thing. So you're seeing things taking place.
Movement.
And we ain't touched Silver Sands there with the 100 and something.
No.
So, and Silver Sands is not government. Silver Sands is a private entity that has engaged and taking on people.
And again, we have to give government the credit for creating the right kind of environment, to support that private sector growth. They're getting involved, if people wants to invest now. You have cement running, you're running out of cement, you're running out of sand, you're running out of materials, you understand? And yet, some people can't see the benefit, they can't see this country moving forward. All they're hoping for is chaos, anarchy, want to create chaos and anarchy in the health sector. And they are the one that wrong. They are the one that making a mistake. They are the one that embarrassing us.
Why these people interfering with me online because they're talking and saying puff. Yes, there's puff. They're soft. As soon as the Americans come in, they disappear.
Of course.
They run and hide.
They genuflex.
These people and them, and watch, the first set of them to go and put out American flag, some of them was carrying AK just before shouting, let them come. We go bury them in the sea. Somebody first one of them to put on the American t-shirt, we love America, and had a flag waving. I'm nothing against America. Yeah, I have nothing against America, but I'm saying the hypocrisy of some of these people is puff. Revolutionary.
And now they want to stay into this. They want to remain in Privy Council.
They want to remain in the Privy Council. The so-called revolutionaries.
So they don't trust themselves.
So-called progressive thinkers.
They don't trust themselves.
KB, we're gonna open the phone lines now. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. We're gonna open the phone lines and take your calls now. Just to let you all know, let me just see that there. Oh yeah, those of you that would like to vote on referendum day, and your boss and them play they telling you can't vote, your boss could go to jail for doing that. And just let your boss know in a very nice way that you have a constitutional and legal right to cast a ballot on referendum day. And that is not a choice of the boss whether or not they give you the time to go. They have to give you the time to go and vote. It is not a public holiday. You can't not appear on work. But you must make your agreement with your boss because you want business to continue operating. Make the agreement with your boss who go in and vote in the morning, who go in and vote in the evening, to give you sufficient time to be able to cast your ballot.
Yeah.
It is the law of Grenada. No. You're not asking a favor of any boss man. You're not asking a favor of anybody to be able to go and cast your ballot on that day. And again, because NDC is playing the no game, look out for the same tactics that they were trying during the election. Remember, they slow it to hell down?
Yeah.
So they know you have to go to work, but they want to go and take an inordinate amount of time within the polling station to try and make sure that you reach the work late, or you can't reach the work, or you leave and go. Look out for it, because it coming. Yeah? Don't think sheep don't grow in wool again. They ain't growing porcupine spurs. They still grow in wool. Yeah? So look out for them. The wolves still have fur on it. Look out for them. They will try different things on the day. When they know that you are going to vote yes, they will try everything, not to make you vote no, but to make you not vote at all. Because they want their vote to stay. We have a caller. Hello?
Good morning to you, Mr. Scott.
Good morning.
And good morning, Mr. Budlar.
Good morning.
Yes. Now, I find you all spend a lot of time this morning talking about the Nancy Democratic Congress. And I make no apologize for saying the Nancy Democratic Congress, because you know Nancy Reagan's slogan when it comes to drugs was just say no. So I call them the Nancy Democratic Congress because the slogan is just say no. And listen to this. The St. George's Bus Terminal, no. Bruce Street Mall, no. Ministerial Complex, no. Kirani Athletic Stadium, no. 1,000 houses for needy Grenadians, no. New hospital, the new one, no. The second phase of the new hospital, no. Constitution reform, no. CCJ, no. MBIA development, no. Silver Sands Hotel, no. $100 and for the poor people and the poor people monthly benefits, no. Rebuilding of Lafayette School, no. Rebuilding and refurbishment of Parkley Government School, no. Maribo Abattoir, no. The Libera Project, no. Sotes Breakwater Project, no. Proper facilities for the dialysis treatment, gentlemen, no. Now, all of these have materialized, which caused Grenada to be where it is today. Now, the question I have to ask here, as I wrap up, one question I have to ask the naysayers, and that is Grenada in a much better position today, both economically and financially speaking, in contrast to when the NDC was in office under the leadership of Mr. Tillman Thomas and Finance Minister V. Nazimbo? The answer is absolutely yes. The whole world recognizes our progress. They have all said that Grenada have done so well that the Grenada model is what should be used going forward. Tell me, which initiative towards our economic and financial recovery did the NDC support? The answer is none. Zero. but we have still made progress beyond the expectations of our Caribbean brothers and sisters without the blessings of the NDC. And while all that was being done, the government was still able to pay over $110 million in public service benefit. Over 300 teachers was made permanent. Over $42 million in scholarship was given out. Unemployment moved from 40% to 22%. The same company the government wanted was to give the Rex Hotel to, which the NDC condemned, is the same company today that now buy all 4 Rex hotels. The $10 million to Nawasa, which the NDC could not pay, the NNP have done all of that whilst we going through a restructuring program. Mr. Scott, the NNP have nothing to fear. Why? Because they have delivered the goods that the Grenadian people was looking forward to. They have delivered, and the Grenadian people realize that the NNP have a vision that the NDC never had. Gentlemen, to you and your listening audience, now listen to me 1 second here, and listen to me, Mr. Scott. I know the referendum votes will be counted nationally, but what I want to assure you is that in the Northwest constituency in St. Andrews and the Northeast constituency in St. Andrews, we will deliver the 67% that is needed to pass, for it to pass. In these 2 constituencies, we will deliver the 67%. I hope the other constituency will use the same strategy and put the same mechanism in place that we are putting in the Northwest St. Andrews and the Northeast to ensure that the 67% is guaranteed. Gentlemen, have a pleasant day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. But you forget one thing, when they faced the Grenadian people on the 13th of March, they told them no. Since they like no so much, when they face the Grenadian people watch them and they say, no. Yeah, they put no so much in relation to them. Everything is no.
There is a consequence.
Would your view, KB, would the NDC have come out of this entire process more respected as an organization had they stuck to supporting the Caribbean Court of Justice?
I think yes. You see, Grenadians want to see you support what is good for country, and they love patriotism. And once they feel, they perceive that it's like you're opposing the future of the children, All what the guy call out there, is like an organization opposing the future development of country and the kids.
The NNP last year decided that they got a person to fund it and so on, and they funded some school bags for the children of Grenada. Some school bags with the Grenada flag on it, not the NNP house on it, not the NNP on it, but some school bags for the children of Grenada. Thousands of school bags, so that parents would have to find that local 70-something to 100 and buy the bag. And some of them children, a lot of them still using the bags,
Yeah, what important?
A lot of them still using the bags.
Scott, that is important. I'm glad you bring up that. What important? This bag is the strongest bag that ever passed in Grenada. The workers now buy other bags for the kids. And they're using that bag to go to work because it can't bust, it can't rip, it can't tear.
You're seeing man
it can't damage.
On truck. You're seeing man passing on truck. You're seeing men passing in van. You're seeing people in town right now, and they had the bag because the bag
is so strong, it can't finish.
But then if I was the person that decided that I'm doing this for the children of Grenada, and I heard the comments of some people here in Grenada, no wonder I wouldn't be interested in doing it a second year. No wonder I wouldn't be interested in doing it a second year.
This bag is the strongest bag that ever come to this country. It can't deal damage.
Let's take a call.
Good morning, Sheldon. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
Morning. Brother Sheldon and Kevin, I want to know, who going around and telling people to vote no. Alright? I want we, the Ghanaian people, who have a positive idea and who cares and love our country, right, to tell Indosians, ask Indosians a question. You tell us to vote no. If we have a case, right, and we have to go to the Privy Council, will they give us the finance to go to the Privy Council, right? Because the senior brother them, and they may be afford to go to the Privy Council, but we are the poor ordinary people. We cannot reach here. And if you're saying to me, don't go, but you should give me the money. So in the case now that I have to go to the Privy Council, that I could go, but you give me the money. And if you cannot finance me the money, and you tell me to vote no for the CCJ, I ask them to shut up, because we want to see everybody get justice, and to go everybody get justice, and justice could only come when we vote yes for the CCJ, right? Because the no sayers, they don't care about nobody, they don't want to care about themselves, and even when they care and love other people, they will say to the greater people, vote yes for the CCJ, because the CCJ is the court that will give us justice, and a quicker justice, and will benefit each and every one of us. So I'm asking greater people, come November the 6th, we go down and vote yes for the CCJ, which is the best thing for we the Ghanaian people and the Caribbean people. The CCJ will bring us together. So, brother Sheldon and KB, you all have a wonderful day. God bless you all.
Thank you for your contribution.
Right, yes, indeed. Because these people are actually going around and going door to door and telling people vote no. But I want the people to ask them, why should you vote no? Because their political organization has said that it is a good thing. But just because you have a hatred for Dr. Mitchell, that's why you want to vote no on this thing? I mean, KB, trying to understand.
Someone
help
asked
me understand, KB.
One of the past NDC candidates, why I must vote no. You tell me vote no. Give me reason why I must vote no. The answer was, we have more important thing to talk about. Local government. That have nothing to do. The answer is it was so far apart. You will feel so embarrassed.
Okay, what is more important to the poor man's daughter or the poor man's son who is sitting in prison right now, is innocent but has been found guilty? Because it happens.
Yes.
In the United States, you have man that come out of jail after 30-something years, and the man them was innocent and they find them guilty because they find all kind of things. When they check DNA, they realize, well, it's not he.
Not here.
You have people in England, in countries all over the world that after many, many years have been found innocent and come out of jail. So who say that we might not have people like that here that need to go to the final court of appeal to be able to get the opportunity to get out of prison? Is poor people children. But they don't care about poor people children. They don't care. Let's take this call. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Morning, sir.
And KB.
Good morning.
I can't far about Thursday. KB, I want to hear your voice, man. Anytime on the radio, you always be excited, man. Right? Well, what's about your Sunday program, man? I don't hear the Sunday program again. Well, you can't next this time, you see. Plantation mentality is not easy to get a read off, you know.
Okay.
I guess Elizabeth was still on the wall. Elizabeth and took out the monk was still hang up on the wall. I guess you go to any one of them house, you will see Elizabeth hang up on the wall. He said, this plantation mentality is time for we to rise over that, man. And you see, people to both and say, I remember the last referendum. They have been surprised by the way they said that was passing, but they was arguing and they said that was passing Grenada because Grenada is a revolution country. And they was amazed, they embarrassed us, they boy. When we talk to the past, it pass because of plantation mentality. Even though in St. Mark's, don't check. Even if that does passing for constituency, St. Mark's was the only place I think I received, I think it was 69% or something. So St. Mark's, even if passing for constituency, St. Mark's is the only one. I say St. Mark's is the most conscious of people in Grenada. And they got to get the last referendum prove it, the consciousness. Take care, man. Keep your card in your voice, man.
Good man, you'll hear me soon over there.
Yes, man.
Okay.
KB, I mean,
plantation mentality. That's good.
It's interesting, and that mentality pervades the minds of many of our people.
Slave.
KB, you were part and parcel of the People's Revolution. You know a lot of men who were jumping up in front about we rebel.
No.
That these people and them is path revolutionary.
So
they were coward.
embarrassing. when they tell some slave they free, they wonder why free? To leave massa house and go, why?
But I have it good here. I'm Massa House, Massa gave me some scraps of food.
Freedom, no.
Go.
Same thing with the NDC attitude towards the CCG and the Privy Council.
I wanna play some audio here for you, KB, of some of the statements made by members of the NDC. I don't know if you've heard it before, but let me play some of the statements here. So let me play the first one.
The National Democratic Congress is not and has never been opposed to the CCJ. In fact, previous administrations led by the NDC have done lots of work to push forward the work of the CCJ, and that can be attested to by Brother Peter David. The CCJ is another step towards the achievement of Caribbean unity. And in the NDC, we know that eventually, one way or the other, the CCJ in its appellate jurisdiction will become a reality, not only in Grenada, but throughout the Caribbean.
That's the
deputy political leader.
No, acting political leader.
Oh,
not even deputy again.
Acting political leader now.
A deputy is essential, but they are on the. There is the
so he's the leader. He's the leader.
Yeah. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. But that's what he had to say.
Yeah.
And that is during this month. That is in Wester Hall. The man was speaking. The man didn't say they vote no. He didn't say vote no at that time. So what happened to him between then and now?
It changed again.
Well, I mean, how you could trust somebody like that because they're going to tell you one thing on the campaign trail and then the moment they sign in, they come in and tell you something else? Well, not that he would ever sign in. But let's hear somebody else from the NDC campaign.
Yeah.
What is our and what is my position on the CCJ? First and foremost, the NDC and I not opposed to the CCJ. But I want to say to you that the CCJ would not come into reality unless we change our attitude in the way we do business.
So that's Mr. Glenn Noel, the General Secretary of the NDC?
Yeah, it seems as though he's the permanent General Secretary because they don't want nobody to challenge him anyway.
Let me see who else we have here. I don't have the names attached to it, so I just played my audio.
Folks, you know my stance and you know I'm a principled person. I've stated very, very clearly that the CCJ is the way to go, and it is inevitable. Look, now people could have reservation, and you have a right to, that's your business. But at the end of it all, we would have to handle our own affairs here in the Caribbean. We'd have to have our own system, and I am simply saying the time is now. The time is here for us to do so. And look, we can have disagreements. We can, look, I've stated on the program my position, and there are people who say straight up, I don't agree with your position, and they challenge and they say certain things, and I respect that. We should have a healthy debate going forward. Tomorrow we will have Joseph Roberts or some of his acquaintances or some of his colleagues to come in and speak about the CCJ, and you have the opportunity to ask a number of questions the same way. But I am telling you folks, you have listened to me many years. I am confident that the CCJ is the way to go. It may not be perfect, and nothing in life is perfect. Nothing in life except God himself. But I am simply saying, this is something that you need to look at. Give it a try. Look at it. Listen to both arguments. I am convinced that the CCJ is better for this region than the Privy Council at this point in time. And I am saying it will be better for many, many years to come. So I am simply asking of you to vote yes for the CCJ.
Well, you know who that is?
Of course, yeah. And
that is the same person coming to say vote. After they tell you all how good it is.
What is his position now?
All of a sudden they're saying the opposite. They're saying vote no. So they tell you how good the thing is.
Yeah.
They tell you they're convinced. And now they come in and tell you could trust a person like that. That is flip at the thing.
That's why everybody want to be the leader of this party. There is no leadership.
Lava man
have a tune. John
Lava man have a tune.
Injection never work.
The injection never work.
Be a good like nice like a children when they drink right. I tell you that everybody don't lie on me.
The name of the tune is Bipolar. There's something had to be crazy with someone. I can't understand. They had to be bipolar. Let me leave Lava Man alone. Lava, Marcus, good morning. Right, let me leave Lava Man alone. But no, something definitely has to be wrong. We've heard from the acting political leader saying how good the CCJ is and so. We've heard from the General Secretary. Now we're not talking about the NNP here, we're talking about the NDC.
Yeah.
Let's hear what one other member of the NDC.
Brandon Robinson.
Yeah, let me hear.
And this is not about me, this is about all of you and all of us. But I want to say one thing before we start. In 1979, a number of our young people did something that reverberated around the world. Something that it may not have lasted forever, but has, in a world of no cell phone and no internet and no fax machine or nothing like that, has established institutions that today we are very proud of. MNIB, National Insurance Board, and the airport. You know, we should have been the first one signing on to the CCJ. We should have been. I don't know what happened, but given that, given what we did then, we should have been the first. So keep that in the back of your minds with those of you who have all the excuses in the world as to why we shouldn't.
KB,
Well, what about this U-turn? What caused, what responsible for this U-turn?
Man, that more look like a S turn to me. That look like I just signed my S.
They saying what they don't mean?
It is extremely, I don't know how to explain.
I understand after you make those statements, you get a lot of blues for it, you know. After you make those statements, those NDC haters call him in and they give him a good tongue lashing for it, you know. So they don't have the balls to stand up and they cannot take hard decision or have the independent mind to, you know, to say what they feel or what is right. You know, they go on, they looking for popularity support, they on popularity campaign, and it's what the haters say in NDC.
Yes, indeed. And folks, we into
That's
the final.
amazing. That's amazing.
You hear them for yourself.
Yes.
You hear them, the Grenadian people hear them for themselves.
But privately, what they're saying in the public, privately they're not saying that. They're quietly telling their people, vote no.
And before we run out of time today, I just need to let folks know this evening, the CCJ Advisory Committee, they're having a meeting with the church groups, and so that'll be in River Road at the Agape Ministries. I believe that's taking place for 6 p.m. So the CCJ Advisory Committee, some of you may want to know what the committee is up to this week. So they have that meeting taking place with the churches, the various religious bodies. That'll be at Agape Ministries for 6 p.m. a kind of pastors roundtable that they'll be having with them this evening from 6 p.m. Also, they would be at the St. George's University on Wednesday. I think Justice Dennis Byron will be back, and they'll be having that meeting at the SGU. On Wednesday, they're going to be in St. Mark's at the Bonaire Government School tomorrow for 6 p.m. So the CCJ Advisory Committee, they're moving around. Sometimes they don't always say the things they're doing. They met with Maurice Bishop International Airport staff on Friday. They've met with the police at the various divisions and so on. They've met with several business people. When I say business people, not a business person, but the business itself. They've been meeting with different ministries, because time to time you hear people saying, well, oh, the advisory committee not doing it. But while they're talking, the advisory committee working.
And the point is that who don't want information because they don't want to seek information.
Yeah.
They don't want to. They say, look, I don't have no idea, so I'm not voting. They don't want to seek information.
Somebody just sent a message saying the city bags fly in Miami, and you're yeah, that Grenadian bag, that bag with the flag on it that they come and say demon in it and this and that.
Oh, yeah,
you're passing through the airport, and when you're passing through the airport, you're seeing the bag, you know.
Of course.
You're seeing the flag and thing, you know what? That's a Grenadian boy.
People traveling all over the world with the bag.
Yeah, they're proud.
Of course.
They're proud. I know people going on international trips and so on, and they're telling you they want that bag to go.
I'm looking for a damaged one. And anybody find a damaged one, bring it for me. Because I have never seen a damaged one. It looks so strong.
They should have issued SSU with some of them. Kebby,
Yes.
tomorrow morning, though, we're going to have the post-cabinet press briefing. Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honorable Keith
Yes.
Mitchell will be on the post-cabinet press briefing tomorrow morning. Of course, media, you know, you have to set up by 9:45.
Yes.
Prime Minister will be hosting the post-cabinet press briefing.
That's a great one.
He is going to be out of the island for a short period today, heading over to St. Vincent. They're going to discuss the issue of Liat.
Okay.
So you're going to take a Liat to go over to St. Vincent to discuss the issue of Liat.
You just pop in some money to Liat?
Well, you know, Grenada said previously they're not putting any money until certain things take place.
Yes.
It's one of the shareholders of Liat. What we've seen is that there has been a marked improvement in the service offered by Liat. They're generally on time. They're not canceling flights unless you have a hurricane or some kind of storm or some kind of thing. They step up the game a lot. I don't know if it's new management. I don't know what it is.
The cost factor?
The cost factor is still one of the big issues there. It's still too expensive to travel throughout the Caribbean. Yes. But the thing is that once you get the service operating at the proper level,
you can subsidize.
Yeah, once you're not overspending and just putting a pile of money into something that's not working properly. Once you start having it operating properly, then the price can be reduced because you're not spending as much to operate, because you have less wastage and so on. So Prime Minister would be heading to, if he's not on the way right now, he will be heading to St. Vincent today, and he'll be back to host post-cabinet press briefing tomorrow. So definitely we're looking forward to that one, KB.
Before we leave, I want to make sure I say what we're doing in putting structure in place to curb those the problem we have in the hospital in terms of people taking things that don't belong to them and so on. Do we put in any system in place to ensure that we minimize those?
Of course, they're putting systems in place.
The cameras.
I think
to search the bags.
The one or two people who are guilty of it right now, they're shaking in their boots. They're shaking in their boots. And the thing is that, and this is what a lot of people don't realize. The one or two people who are guilty, everybody know who it is. Everybody know who it is. And the rest of the staff now start to say, all you're making me look bad. All you have to stop it. Well, so the rest of the staff now start being the police. So the rest of the staff at the hospital.
It's strange, you know.
I know. And them carrying badge and handcuff, you know, they turn police now.
Well, they're right, because the point is that we all know Grenadians are very fast people. And because we fast, that is what keeps us safe. Because we don't mind in our business. Every time we see something, we call in the police and we talking. And that is what keeps us safe. Thank God we fast. I wondered how this thing was going on so long, and there was not reporting those people for stealing these things. But anyhow, I'm glad the Prime Minister made that statement and put everybody on the P&A.
They ain't taking chance. They ain't taking chance right now. Folks, remember to check Cammy.
Yes.
Cammy have a sale going on. You know, she has the little medical issue that she needs to sort out.
Okay, she has sale?
Yeah, she has slippers, she have fruit, she have vegetables, she have clothes, she have perfume, she have cosmetics.
I'll pass by Cammy today.
She have all kind of thing on sale. So folks, check out Cammy. She has a nice sale going on. You know, she has to help herself to do one or two things. Nice. Yes. So it's a woman that coming out and try and help herself. So she have her stuff, and she's selling. So check out Cammy down there on the terminal. And you can check Helen Marie too. You know, you have your curtains, Christmas time coming up, time to sew your curtains. Go and check Helen Marie downstairs, the NIS Mall and so. And KB tonight, remember Dr. Francis Alexis,
so
Lawrence Joseph, and Claudette Joseph. They are on the headline tonight.
Program tonight.
Claudette, don't duck out, you know. Don't play a chicken. Don't play you get sick. You can't come tonight. You have appeals court tomorrow. You can't come. Don't play coward, because we know all this path revolutionary. Show up. Come out tonight. Don't come and play a ducking. Come out tonight.
Yes, and all.
No path revolutionary thing. Come out.
All the parliamentarian, do your political work. Bring out your people. Mobilize your people and make sure they vote yes.
And you want a final word to lead the people with? I want all of you, when these people come to you and they tell you nonsense and think about Dr. Mitchell shouldn't be finance minister of the year, understand that over 9,810 people were engaged within the month of October. We're talking about 8,400 over the 2 fortnights in the bushing program. The environmental wardens added with that. So you're talking about 8,400 there, and then 1,400. Those are the 60 police down training right now at SSU, mainly female,
Yes.
down at the SSU training right now, together with the 850 Imani and the 500
young men
there. And we ain't counting in the 100 and something in Silver Sands and them. We ain't counting that in. We ain't counting in the call centers. We ain't counting in the additional people on the construction projects taking place around the island. I see one of them structures up in Karaku for the Chinese low-income housing, you know. I see one of the building up and thing there. Shock and surprise. I still think it's foundation alone there. I ain't realized building gone up already.
Yeah, but why the Chinese doing so much for us, and why is it some people want to spread a kind of anti-Chinese sentiment in this country?
You want my personal belief?
Why is it?
And I want my friends down at the Chinese embassy to tell the ambassador, Sheldon say so. I believe the Taiwanese funding these people who pushing the anti-China agenda here in Grenada. I make no apology for saying it on radio. I believe that those people you hear talking against, you're getting house, they're talking about against it. You're getting scholarships, short-term training, they're talking against it. My personal belief, Taiwan giving them money to push an anti-China agenda here in Grenada. They're getting money from Taiwan to do it. They're being paid to do it.
You know, China is a main contributor to our financial institution in the Caribbean, the CDB.
Of course. Of course, when you have the CDB meeting, China has to come. Billions,
so you cannot deny the Chinese from bidding for contract in the Caribbean, you know, because their country put in money.
I think I made a slight error. Postcab is not tomorrow. Postcab is Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday.
Wednesday. No, it's supposed to be Tuesday, but in this instance, postcab will be Wednesday. So I could tell you up right now. We ain't going to have no program on Wednesday because when Prime Minister doing postcab, that's going until after 12.
Yes.
So
and
definitely
there will be a lot of questions.
Yeah. So Prime Minister will be there on postcab on Wednesday. Thank you, my good friend. I ain't gonna call your name.
And
who just messaged me to let me know.
The Prime Minister is more than qualified to become Finance Minister.
Come and ask the questions. He's not afraid to answer the questions.
He's more than qualified.
Yeah.
Because performance be told
every time. Every time.
You know,
KB, I'd like to thank you. And we hope to see you in studio with us very soon again.
Yes, I promise.
And I think we have somebody revolting to talk about.
I know you have to touch.
We ain't talking about talking.
And you know, we still will October 25th or you know, right there.
I want to do a program on the 25th of October, but the issue we're having there is that there is the church service at 10.
At 10.
And we were thinking of broadcasting the church service, so it might be a situation where we broadcast the church service and then do hard talk, or we just broadcast the church service, myself and Devon, and we'll discuss it with you as well.
Okay.
Because it'd be a very interesting day to have you in studio with us as well. We're trying to have Mr. Rufin, who was here with us on Friday, rejoin us as well for that program. So folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. Remember, I say CCJ all the way. Vote yes. I ain't putting my mouth in bag to come and say it. Are saying vote yes. I am poor people children and I will always be for poor people. I say vote yes. Them who don't like poor people saying vote for the Privy Council. They're too bad mind.
They have money to go up there.
Yeah, they're too bad mind. So I'm saying vote yes. That's all the time we have for our talk today. Whatever you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. KB, once again, thank you so very much.
Welcome.
Thank you to all the stations, all the callers, all the listeners. We are out of here.
The Caribbean court of justice, reaching one unity, coming together as one. Hear what we say. When you see November 6th, we voting against all the CCJ. Come out and make the right decision. It benefits in everybody. The Caribbean court of justice is what I come to promote. So when not time we just stick, make sure you vote and vote, believe it. Let us get it right. I say everything has to fix. One Caribbean, one community. CCJ and they have the remedy. Oh, the CCJ, yeah. Come November 6th, every Caribbean island I calling out one and all. Oh, the CCJ, yeah.
Yes, for the CCJ. That's it. Vote yes for the CCJ.
Caribbean Court of Justice. Man are ready to vote. The people ready to vote. I said they're ready to vote. We voting yes. Court of Justice. We voting yes, 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 yes for Caribbean Court of Justice. I'm telling you, I go in and vote, you go in and vote, we go in and vote. Caribbean Court of Justice. She go in and vote, he go in and vote, they go in and vote. Caribbean Court of Justice. Grenada is a little island down here in the Caribbean. We've been through a lot in my lifetime, even revolution. And I must mention Hurricane Ivan. My dream is to see all the island come together as one. We voting yes for Caribbean Court of Justice. We voting yes, 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 yes for Caribbean Court of Justice. I'm telling you, I go in and vote, you go in and vote, we go in and vote. Caribbean Court of Justice. She go in and vote, he go in and vote, they go in and vote. Caribbean Court of Justice. My people, remember, November the 6th, Caribbean Court of Justice is the best choice. Vote yes, the Caribbean Court of Justice. Up, 2, 3, 4.
OECS health ministers discussing solutions to problems faced by the health systems. Details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Friday, October 19th, I am Rakisha St. Louis. If we want to tackle the challenges faced by healthcare systems in the OECS, we must create policies that will enhance and transform the health sectors. That advice from Health Minister Honorable Nicholas Steele, outgoing chairperson of the OECS Council of Health Ministers. He was addressing the start of the OECS Pharmaceutical Procurement Services, or the OECS PPS Policy Board meeting at the Radisson Beach Convention Center this week. Accessibility and affordability of universal health care and unification of health policies are high on the agenda. Minister Steele says they agreed on a plan of action on health during a meeting in Martinique earlier this year, which speaks to resource sharing and developing common approaches to the health sector in the OECS.
As we look at the issue of equity and access, it has become clearer that in order to have equity in access, we must have universal access to healthcare. And in order to have universal access to healthcare and ensure that no one is left behind, our health systems do not just need to improve, they need to be transformed. We have to think differently. We cannot keep doing what we have been doing for the last 50 years. Times have changed.
Health Minister of Montserrat and incoming chairperson for the Ministers of Health of the OECS, Honorable Delmont Ryan, explained that as the Caribbean transforms its healthcare system to universal standard, it must be mindful of the culture that surrounds our Caribbean people.
This is not a job just for the Ministry of Health. By involving multiple stakeholders, we are more likely to come up with innovative, effective, and people-centered solutions to our health problems. Solutions that are people and primary care centered. Solutions that engage our communities and families. And solutions that embrace smart infrastructure and leapfrog technology. So as we prepare to go into these meetings of the 32nd OECS PPS Policy Board and the 5th Council of Health Ministers meeting, I ask that we remember the commitments made in the Fort-de-France Declaration on Solidarity in Health, and that we find common approaches to contribute to an OECS-wide transformation for universal access.
She says the challenges in the healthcare sector are being addressed by the Pharmaceutical Procurement Services Policy Board to assist in curbing the problems.
Even as we address the challenges within the health sector, we must involve more than just the government or the public service. Health must be visible. We therefore must engage everyone, families, communities, NGOs, and the private sector. All can contribute to extending access. This is not a job just for the Ministry of Health. By involving multiple stakeholders, we are more likely to come up with innovative, effective, and people-centered solutions to our health problems.
The process has begun to bring the Maribor Abattoir in line with HACCP standards. Staff at the facility participated in a one-day training session in food safety on Friday in accordance with Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Program Standards, HACCP. The training is in response to the recommendations made following a recent visit to the facility by an agriculture health specialist. ICA specialist Derek Charles says the session is a prerequisite to getting the facility to HACCP standards so as to ensure food and occupational safety and also to strengthen the capacity of butchers and staff.
It is a prerequisite to get in there. And the objective of the training is to strengthen the capacity of the staff and the butchers in food safety activities as a prerequisite to HACCP. And the outcome is that you will have a better understanding of the hazard in this abattoir and the mitigating factors or measures you take to mitigate such hazard.
Facilitator and Quality Assurance Manager at the Marketing and National Importing Board, Kenlyn Edwards, says the seminar placed specific emphasis on ensuring food safety through the entire process. He says focus will also be placed on good manufacturing practices and sanitation.
How to bring forward food safety through the entire process, from the time the animal leaves the field to the time it gets to the consumer. So throughout the process floor, I'll be showing where the hazards are, the potential hazards, and what control measures can be put in place. So it will be a practical exercise. I'm just showing them how to go about to do the process to ensure food safety. So HACCP is a very broad-based subject matter, but today I will condense it down in about 20 slides just to show them what the basics are.
More than 10 abattoir staff members and butchers were present at the training, which was organized by the Ministry of Agriculture and ICA. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The house was shaking. Then suddenly saw we hear bang, crack, and the roof had gone.
Man, I was so scared, I nearly wet myself.
Only those who have lived it can truly understand the devastating fury of a hurricane's wind.
The house across the road just get up and roll over.
Hurricane force wind. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can hurricane-proof your home. For example, make your roof more wind-resistant by using screws instead of nails in its construction. Find out more about hurricane force winds and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from the National Disaster Management Agency and SEDERA.
Welcome back. Attorney at law Rogers Ferguson says casting a yes vote on referendum day November 6th for the CCJ as Grenada's final court of appeal will ensure that people have access to an appeal court at an affordable cost. He was speaking at a public meeting in Calais this week. Ferguson says while many believe it is costing the government extra money to accede to the CCJ, Grenada has already paid to join the court, but has not been utilizing it. He also explained that the court sits in 2 jurisdictions and that at present Grenada can only access one part of the court.
You have an original jurisdiction of the court and you have an appellate jurisdiction of the court. There is one court, one physical building, one set of administrative staff, one set of technology, the same courtroom, and the same judges. But they sit in different jurisdictions. So, for example, the original jurisdiction means that the court, if there is any matter that falls under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, then the CCJ in its original jurisdiction is the court to determine that dispute. So you don't go to your own local court to determine that issue. You go straight to the CCJ in its original jurisdiction. The revised Treaty of Chaguaramas is the treaty that binds Caribbean countries together, that sets the rules in relation to trade, in relation to CSME. In fact, the revised treaty deals exclusively with CSME. It incorporates CSME, and that's, as we know, free movement of people, of goods, services, capital, etc. So any matter that relates to that and involves an interpretation of the treaty, the CCJ has to sit in its original jurisdiction. You can go straight to that court. And when it's the appellate jurisdiction, it's the final court. It replaces the Privy Council, so you must go through your local courts in order to get to the CCJ. You can't say, well, your local court moving too slow, so I go into the CCJ. No, it's a final appeal court.
The 2018 referendum seeks to have Grenada replace the Privy Council at its final court with the Caribbean Court of Justice and the renaming of the Supreme Court to the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. The meetings continue throughout the parishes as the advisory committee prepares to host a major forum in St. Mark on October 23rd. At that meeting, former president of the CCJ, Sir Dennis Byron, will be the guest speaker. Sir Byron will continue to assist Grenadians to acquire a better understanding on the operation of the Caribbean Court of Justice. And finally, Ambassador Atala Shabazz, eldest daughter of Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz, celebrated International Day of the Girl Child in her father's homeland, Grenada. Ambassador Shabazz hosted the special viewing of the biographical drama Hidden Figures, a film which recounts the contributions of key African-American female mathematicians working at NASA during the space race era. The viewing took place at the Juluk Cinema in Grenville, St. Andrew on October 11th, attended by the Minister with responsibility for tertiary education, skills development and education outreach, Honorable Pamela Moses. We get more in this report from Annette Moore.
Ambassador Shabazz is an accomplished producer, writer, diplomat, and keynote speaker who has been delivering keynote speeches for more than 40 years throughout the United States, Central America, Europe, Africa, and the Caribbean. Her family has a legacy of investing heavily in human development, human service, and social impact.
On behalf of the Grenada Girl Guides Association Brownies, I present to you this basket of spice.
My grandmother at the time when she left Grenada was about your ages, and so this is really, really quite meaningful. I'm here in Grenada as a granddaughter of Grenada, very proud granddaughter. My grandmother's from Ladi, and her son, her fourth of 9 children, was Malcolm X. So that's what connects me. There are many people whose lives are impacted by the quiet yet ever-effective Grenadians that move about.
The theme for this year's International Day of the Girl Child was With Her, a Skilled Girl Force. According to the UN, this year's celebrations mark the start of a year-long effort to focus on the most pressing needs and opportunities for girls to attain skills for employability. Approximately 280 girls, including those from the organizing body, the Girl Guides Association of Grenada, were able to laugh, cheer, and appreciate the struggles of the 3 African-American women in the film Hidden Figures.
I was inspired by this movie because I felt like if the 3 women had listened to what other people had said and discouraged them, they would not have done this, accomplished so much.
Since its release, the film Hidden Figures has been used as a tool to encourage young girls and women to develop an interest in STEM.
There are 3 special ladies in here, and these 3 special ladies represent 3 million around the world. One of them specifically just passed away, but if the movie wasn't done, we wouldn't have even known she existed. And it's because of her that the United States landed on the moon, right? 50 years ago. That's the small of it. But as an academic, now we call it STEM, but then it included science, technology, engineering, and math. very naturally.
She also hinted at much more to come.
This time next year, when we celebrate the Flavors of Grenada in May, we're going to bring some of the actresses that are in the movie. How many of you have seen Aquila and the Bee? Right? So she's a big girl now, but we're aiming to bring her back here. And also the Queen of Katwe. All of these are real life stories about young women and girls who, no matter the odds, no matter the shortcoming, no matter who's being bullied, no matter who's being ignored, they stuck to their inner power, and with courage, what they did is something we benefit from today.
Ambassador Shabazz is also introducing a special club dubbed Grenadian Sisterhood for the young ladies present at the event, noting that Flavors of Grenada will be her global Grenadian partners who will support and facilitate her efforts here in Grenada.
I am my grandmother's daughter in many ways, and I promised her I'd come back. One of the quotes that I'll make sure you have later of my father was, if you educate a man, you've educated one person. If you educate a woman, you've educated and liberated a whole nation.
For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
That story just brought the curtains down on the National Report for today, Friday, October 19th, 2018. Let's recap the top story. OECS health ministers discussing solutions to problems faced by the health systems. On behalf of all those who made this newscast possible, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for viewing. Until next time.
Joining the CCJ Appellate Division will allow ordinary folk right here in Grenada to see the work of the CCJ as an example which could uplift local judicial performance. Timely hearings, timely delivery of judgments, transparent and open proceedings. I'm telling you, all proceedings of the CCJ are live streamed. Every one of you can stay at home and see the court in operation, every case. And the cases that have already been heard, the video recordings are on the CCJ website, and you can access them and see the court at work. All the judgments of the court and a lot of other work that the court does is posted on the website so that you can identify with the work of the court in ways you cannot identify with the Privy Council. So here we have a court that is open, transparent, and you can have complete access to all of our activities in this manner. Joining the CCJ Appellate Division will allow Caribbean people to be on an equal footing with human beings all over the world, where justice is managed by each community and not outsourced to a foreign power.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about me, this is about all of you and all of us. But I want to say one thing before we start. In 1979, a number of our young people did something that reverberated around the world. Something that it may not have lasted forever, but has, in a world of no cell phone and no internet and no fax machine or nothing like that, has established institutions that today we are very proud of. MNIB, National Insurance Board, and the airport. You know, we should have been the first one signing on to the CCJ. We should have been. I don't know what happened, but given that, given what we did then, we should have been the first. So keep that in the back of your minds with those of you who have all the excuses in the world as to why we shouldn't do it.
The National Democratic Congress is not and has never been opposed to the CCJ. In fact, previous administrations led by the NDC have done lots of work to push forward the work of the CCJ, and that can be attested to by Brother Peter David. The CCJ is another step towards the achievement of Caribbean unity. And in the NDC, we know that eventually, one way or the other, the CCJ in its appellate jurisdiction will become a reality, not only in Grenada, but throughout the Caribbean.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.